Alright guys, welcome to the second Ghoul School Q&A. I want to thank everybody who sent in questions for this one. And as always, if I did not answer someone's question, that usually means YouTube had it either marked as spam or didn't have it show up at all on the list, so I do apologize in advance for that. Anyway, let's get things started with Christian Sager, who asks, the girls take a field trip to Japan and meet the cast of Monster Musume. What happens? I think they would all be like, why are you all trying to get with this human? He's not much. Oh, yeah. That'd probably be it. Second question. The Helsing organization finds out that Sibylla is Alucard's daughter. How do Integra, Ceres, and the rest react? I think they would be like, yeah, we kind of figured you... I think Integra would be like, yeah, I kind of figured that, as old as you are, you probably have been knocking boots with a lot of women. Ceres would be like, oh my god, my master is a father. That's funny. Third question. Have you read the webcomic Irma, and what do you think she would be a good addition to the school? Yeah, I've read that comic. If I'm correct, it's supposed to be the girl who is like the daughter of Samara, or someone from... It's either from The Ring or The Grudge, if I'm right, or a parody of those two. And it's adorable. It's creepily adorable. And yeah, I think she could work. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Christian Sager. Moving on now to Ira Sutton, who asks, if each of the girls had a normal pet, which one would they have? Elsa would have an electric eel. Tanis would have a jackal. Winnie would have a husky. Sibylla would have a bat because vampire. And Phantasma would have a anglerfish. Why? Because you. That's why. It's a fucking anglerfish. Who wouldn't want an anglerfish as a pet? Anyway, am I missing someone? No, I'm not missing anyone. Second question. If you were If you were a cross-dresser, not saying that you are, which of the girls would you want to be for Halloween? What? What? I don't know how to answer this. I really don't. And I can tell you, you kind of... I really don't know how to answer this, because no, I'm not, and none, because I'm not? Yeah. That's a first for me. Yeah, that's a first for me, Ira. You left me well, it's one of those few times where I'm completely have no words. So there you go. Could it be possible for the girls to return to any type of Scooby-Doo media, whether it be shows, comics, and etc.? I think it's possible that one time we can get a show. I personally would think should get an ongoing comic about themselves. I mean, we're getting a lot of young characters like Monster High and all that, so I think the best move you could do... actually, there's actually a question for this, so I'll save that for later. But yeah, I think they should return in some form. And I think it could be a possibility. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Ira. Moving on now to the Omnitron12345, who asks, since Scooby-Doo mysteries are usually guys in masks and nothing special most of the time, do you think Ghoul School series would have them investigate more paranormal, hunting the paranormal vibe, like Buffy almost? Yeah! In fact, that's a good way to go with the show, is make it a younger version of Buffy, or... kind of make it a mixture of Gravity Falls and Buffy, where you have these supernatural events and a mystery going around, and the girls are trying to solve it. So, yeah, I think that's a cool way to go, honestly. Second question: since Godzilla dropped his daughter off, what sort of kaiju offspring would be interested to see at the school? A Gigan's son would be a knife set. No, not like look like a knife set. He is a knife set. Like that, Gigan would be like they're playing soccer, and Gigan would be like, "That's my boy." Who? The one being the goal. He's a knife set. Rodan. Rodan and Mothra, whenever she has kids, she dies. So it's be like, I love you, son. Man. Third question. Do you think Ghoul School is any way influenced by the manga, anime, Rosario plus Vampire, which has a similar monster school setup? I don't know, because what came first? Ghoul School came out in the 80s. Ghoul School came out in the I want to say mid to late 80s. I have no idea when Rosario plus Vampire came out in manga form. I want to say like early 90s, 2000s, because I don't know the date exactly, so maybe, I don't know if it was a direct influence, Ghoul School was a direct influence, but I can see some similarities there, so, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Omnitron. Moving on now to King Nazru, who asks, how do you think the Ghoul School would change if it was ran by a PC principal? I think they would all be wearing school uniforms, which would probably be more detrimental. Alright. Would Kuro-sensei teach at Ghoul School? Probably, yeah. Also, I think the Ghoul School girls probably have a better chance of killing him because they have actual powers. Third question. If Goyokuyo Suzen, Mocha's evil stepmother from Rosario plus Vampire, wanted to recruit the girls in freeing monster kind by wiping out humanity, how do you think she would persuade them? Probably, the whole dark side of the Force kind of spiel. And I think the rest of the girls would be like, man, she's just trying to, pressure it on. Revolta just went ahead and did it. I mean, she's trying too hard. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for that question. Thank you for that question, King Nazaru. Moving on now to Grod Hanks, who asks, I don't know if you've played Undertale, but yeah, I haven't played Undertale, Grod Hanks. Sorry. Second question. What kind of Pokemon do you think the girls would have? Winnie would have a Houndoom. Phantasma would have all three ghost types of Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. I know there's a Mummy-type Pokemon, but I can't remember its name, but that one for Tannis. Elsa would have... I imagine her with a Hitmonchan or something. A fighting-type Pokemon. Sibylla would have an Umbreon because Zubat and from then on is way too obvious. And I think that's it. Anyway, thank you for that question. Second question. How do you think Sibylla would think of the other children of Dracula that have made, for example, Alucard from Castlevania, Erwin from Billy and Mandy, and Mavis from Hotel Transylvania? I think she seems like the type of person who'd be like, I have siblings! Oh my god, this is amazing! Except you, Erwin. You suck. Anyway. So, thank you for those questions, Grod Hanks. Moving on now to Cody Bradish, who asks, who said, so say the original main cast of Ghoul School, with the girls grown up and now supervisors in the school, are now trapped in a school by very aggressive ghost schools and monsters under the control of Magical Madman, but with the 10th Doctor, the original main six, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and the Ghostbusters help, scale of 1 to 10, how epic would this shit get? Pretty fucking epic, like a 12 on the epic scale, if you're wondering. So, yeah. Second question. Who's your favorite original character from Ghoul School? I gotta give it to Fanty. Phantasma's my favorite right there. I love the design of the character, and the laugh is just amazing. Like, I don't know how the original voice actress did that, like, on a constant basis during recording. That's like, that is dedication right there. And yeah, even though I've gone on, I've said multiple times that I don't really do the whole animated girl crush thing. Phantasma was kind of one of the first, like, when I was really younger and I first saw this movie, I was like, the ghost chick is hot. Keep in mind, I was, like, super young when I first saw this movie, and I was like, yeah. Oh, Lord. I think, now that I think about it, it'd be, like, Phantasma, and then, I don't know why, like, Elsa. Like, Elsa was, like, my second favorite. I don't know why, like, maybe because I was watching Ed, Edd n Eddy, and, just how she talked like a female Matt Hill, and I mean, not to say she was like Ed, but no, she was like Ed. She was like a female stitched up Ed. She had the super strength. She had the the lack of intelligence. No, actually, Elsa was actually smarter. She was apparently she was like she was super intelligent when it came to science class. I mean, she made that fucking Shockman thing. So, yeah. I mean, I've been saying so yeah for a lot of this Q&A. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah. So Elsa would probably be my second favorite. Not to discredit the other ones, but yeah, those were probably my two favorite. Anyway. Third question: would you ever like to see the Ghoul School and its class of characters be revisited, but with the whole Scooby gang? Yeah, I love that. I would love to. I heard a rumor that there was a proposed episode that in Mystery Inc. that was going to have the Ghoul School characters in there. Because if you guys know, Mystery Incorporated was probably like the best incarnation ever of Scooby-Doo compared to the original. I mean, yeah, you got the original show, and you've got, Scooby-Doo on Monster Island. Zombie Island, excuse me. And then you have this. Those are like the three best things come out of Scooby-Doo. Even though, yeah, I love Ghoul School, I will admit it's not a perfect film. But yeah, there was apparently a episode where it was going to have a revamped version of the Ghoul School characters, but it got rejected, apparently. So maybe there's hope for the future. So thank you for that question, Cody. Moving on now to Andrew Varney, who asks, the ghouls meet the Mystery Shack gang. What happens? A whole lot of fun. Like, seriously. I just kind of imagine Phantasma and Mabel would be BFFs, like instantly BFFs. Winnie and Wendy would probably hang out a lot. Seuss and Elsa would probably be would be having a lot of fun together. Stan and Miss Grimwood would be, Miss Grimwood would probably be trying to jump Stan's bones the entire time. Oh man, and yeah, Tanis would probably be friends with Mabel, while Dipper's just like, oh my god, we're hanging out with monsters and no one cares. Alright, so thank you for that question. Second question: how would you write a Ghoul School Equestria Girls crossover? Okay, I think I would have it that Revolta has just been, like, hiding her and the what's his name? The Grim Creeper? Yeah, him and, Revolta and the Grim Creeper have been, like, hiding for, like, centuries. They've been, well, not centuries, for years after their defeat the first time around, but now that they've discovered magic in Equestria, magic in this place called Canterlot High, they want to harness that magic and make themselves stronger. While this is going on, the girls are kind of like having a field trip to other schools to see the outside world, and one of the places they go to get themselves, acquainted with the outside world is Canterlot High, and hijinks ensue. So, thank you for that question. Moving on to your third one. The ghouls react to each of the following characters: Beerus, Jacob and Edward, Jack Skellington, Ganondorf, 80s Skeletor, Zim, Discord, Elsa from Frozen, and John Cena. I think it would be a collective. What? It would be a collective. What? Anyway. So moving right along to, thank you for those questions, Andrew Varney. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks, what would the Galactic Federation from Rick and Morty think of the Ghoul School? Probably dangerous future enemies of the Federation and arrest them? Second question, what would Steven Universe and his friends think of the Ghoul School? Oh, Steven would have a ball with these people, and Peridot would just be like, would be trying to do experiments on them constantly. Also, I'm pretty sure, like, she would be mistaken for a child the entire time. Alright. Third question. What are Phineas Ferbs and their friends' reaction to the Ghoul School and the girls? I think that, Phineas and his friends are very open to stuff, so I think they would be like, oh, you guys are monsters? Sweet. That would be kind of it. And also, I just kind of imagine Buford, like, having this instant crush on Winnie. Just seeing this rabid, rebellious kind of character, and being all, this wild dog-like character. I think you'd be like, huh, I like hairy girls. Buford! What? I'm not lying. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Travis Rendon, who asks, if they were to make a cartoon series about the ghouls, would you like it if a remake of the characters physically, or keep them the way they are with a few minor changes? I think I would keep them the way they... maybe age them up a bit. Just a little bit. Like, especially Tanis and Winnie, and probably make them the same age and probably the same height as the other girls. Actually, no, I think I'd just do that with Winnie and keep Tanis as the youngest. And I don't think I would do anything further of changes than that. But yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. Anyway. Also, I'd like to flesh out their characters, because again, as much as I love this movie, as much as I loved it, I have a soft spot for this film, I will openly admit that a lot of the characters are not really fleshed out, and unfortunately, the main reason why we remember this movie, the girls, are not exactly fleshed out. So I think I would give, Sibylla this very, like, she has this aura of, like, gentry around her. She has this aura, you know, she's very posh. She's almost like Pearl in a way, where she doesn't really stick her nose down on people, but she doesn't really understand human culture. And she's also very polite. She's also the one who's she's also the organized one. Again, I would make her very much like Pearl. Winnie would be the rebellious one, the very amethyst member of the group. Like, she'd be the rebellious one. She and Sibylla would be butting heads, kind of, you know, pulling a joke on the whole underworld thing of werewolves and vampires. Tanis would be the shy, younger character, very much like Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. Elsa would be, you know, she's like idiot savant. I would make her very idiot savant, where she is... she's like almost like Ed in terms of intelligence, but when you put her like in front of like a mechanic or like something that needs to be built, she's like, right on. No, actually, I don't think I'd make her stupid. Well, a little slow. Like, she's a little like it takes her a minute to be like, oh, that's what you meant. But probably something more like Junko from Stormhawks, where she would be she'd be like this. You know, she's adorkable. And she's not like, she's like, oh, that's what you meant. But she's a brilliant engineer. For Phantasma, she'd be the fun one. I'd just keep her the fun one. And yeah, that's kind of what I would do. Just give them a little more of a personality. Anyway, second question. What do you think of the ghouls would be doing if they graduate from Ghoul School? I don't know. That's kind of like something I've asked myself, like, what do you do exactly after you graduate from that? Do you go out and kill people? I don't know. I have to think on that. Fuck, Marry, Kill Special Edition. Adult Sibylla, Adult Winnie, and Adult Fan. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, man, this still feels weird, even though you said they were adults in this scenario. Man, this is a weird one for sure. I guess... Kill Winnie, fuck Sibylla, and marry Phantasma? I don't know. I feel weird. It's not a good weird either. This first question. Sorry. Thank you for this question, Travis. Moving on now to Major Badass, who asks... first question is, what monster magic-based dark anime, cartoon, video game, comic, etc. characters do you think would make good characters, and what subject would you want them each to teach? Maybe Dante for defense against, you know, supernatural opponents. Better yet, that'd probably be John Constantine who would probably do that. Maybe Ash from Evil Dead to be the gym teacher, something like that. And maybe Bayonetta for spells. There you go. Second question. How do you think each of the ghouls would grow up like, and what would they do with their lives? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like the graduation thing. It was like, what do you do after, you know... Do you just try to integrate with society, or you just be like, roar, I'm a monster, growl? I don't know. That's a good question. You got to really think on. And your third question is, How would the girls react to a new school for fairies, pixies, angels, and other light creatures moving next door? I think it would be like, sorority girl house wars. And trust me, my sister-in-law was one of them, and she's told me stories that, sorority housing rivalries are true, and they're a lot more vicious than fraternity home rivalries. I can't remember. I don't want to say the name of her sorority, but yeah, she had a rival with another. Her house had a rival with another on-campus house, and there are some war stories. So it would probably be like that for them. Anyway. So thank you for those questions, Major Badass. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler. First question: Triceracop, Peridot, Abridged Nappa, Strax, Bob from Hydra, all now work at the school, and what are their jobs, and how would they react to the girls? Triceracop would be the school campus security guard. Peridot would be the science teacher. Abridged Nappa would be the gym teacher. Strax would be the history teacher, and Bob would be the janitor. Alright, second question. The girls meet the Darkstalkers. How do they react to the characters, in particular John Talbane, Dimitri, and Karis, Lilith, Morrigan, and Felicia? I think Winnie would look at John Talbane and be like, "Oh man, if I weren't a kid." Dimitri would just terrify the girls, and Akaris Tanis would be terrified of Akaris, and I think the girls would look at Morgan and Felicia and Lilith and be like, "Put your damn clothes on. What the hell's wrong with you? Is that a good example, bitch?" And your third question is Ed, and Eddie, Ghoul School crossover. What happens? Oh, I've actually thought about this a few times. I've actually this was one of the first crossover ideas I ever had for Ghoul School, actually. And I've thought about a few here and there, but the idea was, it takes the idea of Ghoul School, but instead of Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy, it's Ed, and Eddie, who Eddie trying to get some money. He just kind of signs a contract he gets from Miss Grimwood after meeting her, and instead of volleyball and all that, they're there to be like the campus security, and hijinks ensue. Also, there was some Ed and Elsa I had planned for that, so yeah. Because Ed and Elsa would probably be the most adorable ship ever. Okay, thank you for those questions, Wolfman the Impaler. Moving on now to ActionFan19, who asks, do you think Elsa Frankentine's favorite song is Oingo Boingo from Weird Science? Oingo Boingo's Weird Science. Oh yeah, duh, that's the song. Probably. She probably also what's another? She Blinded Me with Science. There's another one she'd probably enjoy. Second question. Actually, no, you know who really would probably enjoy Weird Science and probably has that on his playlist? Rick Sanchez. Second question. Since ghouls are offspring of universal monsters, how would it be if a student enrolled at the school that was a child of the Indominus Rex? That kid would be OP as fuck. Third question. Do you think there is a sister school in Japan with Kaiju students? Probably, yeah. I would not I would not be surprised if in that universe we see a home for a school for female kaiju or something of that nature. So thank you for those questions, ActionFan19. Moving on now to Common X, who asks, if you could redo the original movie, what would you change? No Scrappy. Also, get rid of the volleyball thing. Well, actually I would do the volleyball thing, but I wouldn't make it a big part of the movie, because that's the thing. This movie has the weirdest pacing, because the volleyball thing is the entire meaning of the first act, and then it suddenly switches. I mean, Revolta's there, but she's more treated like in a background, and then it feels like a completely different movie. It was like, oh yeah, we gotta do this Revolta thing. So I think I would make the Revolta thing more of a, one of the first things you see is the volleyball tournament. And I think instead of, I wouldn't have Scrappy, but I would have Velma, Daphne, and Fred there, who who are there because Shaggy got them into this. So, yeah, or, shit, I probably wouldn't even have it as a Scooby-Doo movie. I would probably have it as its own thing. Which apparently I read somewhere that it, like this and the Boo Brothers, these were supposed, Ghoul School and Boo Brothers were supposed to be their own thing, but Hanna-Barbera thought they weren't going to be, the Hanna-Barbera company didn't think they would be able to stand on their own, so they put in, they made it a Scooby-Doo title instead. And I can, it's kind of like with Jet Jaguar, where Jet Jaguar is supposed to be his own movie, but then they put in Godzilla for more marquee value. At least that's what I've heard, that's the rumor. Anyway. How would you do an Ultimate Ghoul School? I think I would make it more like they're there to protect, it's more like X-Men, but with a supernatural version of X-Men, really. That's the best way I could put it. Third question. Star and Marco meet the girls in the Callaway Cadets. What happens? I think Marco would be terrified while Star is having a lot of fun. More fun than she should have. Alright. Moving right along to Jesse Sutres, who asks, if the girls were canonical children of real universe monsters instead of comedic counterparts of the movie, what would their backstory be interwoven with the mythologies of those movies? I get, I understand, he's trying to say, what if they really were, related to the Universal era monsters, and what would their real ties be if they were? I think for Sibylla, she would be the daughter of Dracula that he kind of had with one of the brides, but just kind of abandoned. Winnie would be the werewolf who, she was the daughter of the werewolf who bit Larry Talbot, but she was the runt of the litter. Elsa would be built by Dr. Frankenstein after, 2 failed experiments, but now he's going to try with a younger being. Phantasma, she's not really based off of the Phantom of the Opera, so I don't know what to do with her. And Tanis would be the daughter of, the love child of Imhotep and Anaxunamun. Yeah. Second question. If you had a chance to make original students based on monsters and mythological creatures from foreign countries, which would you choose and why? I think I would go with an actual ghoul from Arabic mythology. An actual ghoul for Ghoul School. In terms of others, maybe a Gorgon? I don't know. But the ghoul one first and foremost. And maybe a descendant of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Anyway, third question. If Miss Grimwood's students were to appear in a live-action movie, do you think it would be a good idea to use it as a launching pad for new Scooby-Doo films similar to Mystery Inc. in tone, or would you prefer the film to be entirely separated from those movies and overall working backward towards a new Scooby movie? I would prefer if it was its own thing and animated. I'm not really a big fan of live-action to animation. Animation into live-action, so I just keep it animated. But I would have it, in the same universe as the Scooby-Doo stuff. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Jesse. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, who asks, what do you think will happen if Rick from Rick and Morty became the science teacher of Ghoul School? The school would be, filled with, with angry students, and the school itself would be in an alternate universe on a daily basis. How's that? Am I spitballing in the right direction? Second question. What will happen if the girls from Ghoul School and Hotel Transylvania go to Hotel Transylvania for a vacation? Oh, it'd be great. I'd love to see Sibylla and Mavis hang out I guess you're my half-sister. Dad, what the hell's going on here? Third question. Any thoughts on the crystal gems might react to the Ghoul School if they decide to visit Beach City? Knowing the crystal gems, it would probably be something along the lines of, oh my god, monsters, let's kill them. Alright. So think of those questions, Andre. Moving on now to Ugly Media 2, who asks, Roger Smith from American Dad becomes a teacher. What happens? Oh, man. I would just imagine he would get drunk and, pretend to, he would dress up like one of the monsters and just be like, look at me, girls. I'm Count Succula. give you give you a quarter if you figure out why. Something like that. I don't really care much for American Dad. If you like it, that's totally fine, but I'm not a big fan of it. Starscream encounters the girls in matches. What happens? Starscream gets his ass kicked and is too embarrassed to come home to the Decepticon base. Third question. The girls accidentally get a hint of LSD. What happens? Ugh, monsters on LSD. I can't even imagine what that would be like. Oh, dear Lord. Can't even... What would that be like? I have no idea. Would Fanty think like she's solid? And be like, guys, I can't float through the walls anymore. The walls are melting. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Ugly Media. Moving on now to Boo Rat 1, who asks, which versions of the many different Scooby-Doo cartoons out there would you like to see them visit Ghoul School, and what would the plot would you like to see them tackle? Probably Mystery Incorporated, like I said earlier. I don't know what the story would be, but definitely Mystery Incorporated. Second question, which art style would you like to see the girls done in American anime? Would it... I think I would go, if any animation, I would have to go with the animation style from Gravity Falls. I think that would fit. And actually, I've seen character designs done of the Ghoul School girls done in the vein of Gravity Falls, and they actually look really good. Again, it's fan art. It's not anything official, but someone did it in the vein of Gravity Falls, and it actually looks pretty good. Like, I would go with that animation. Anyway, third question. I've seen some fan theorize that Ghoul School and Hotel Transylvania are connected. What do you think of this? I don't believe it. I don't think it's because they're from two separate companies, so I gotta say no. And also the thing being Winnie, there's two werewolves named Winnie in these movies. Yeah, Winnie would probably was a lot older. Well, not by a long shot, but still, at this time period, she'd probably be older. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Boo Rat 1. Moving on now to Shockwave Spider, who asks, Ghoul School meets Monster High. What happens? I think the Ghoul School would be like, yeah, you girls suck. Just kidding. I'm not a big fan of... I don't hate Monster High. I'm just kind of like, it's not for me. But seriously, though, I think they would get along great. I think the Ghoul School and the Monster Girls would get along swimmingly. I think they would get along very well, except what's her name? It's Cleopatra, right? Or it's Cleo something. Cleo Denial? It's Cleo something. I think she would pick on Tannis and, bitch gonna get hit. Anyway. So second question. If you could date any of the girls in Ghoul School and have one as your girlfriend, who would it be and why? Again, I don't really do that, but like I said earlier, it'd probably be Fanty if I had to pick. Alright, third question. Peter Griffin or Deadpool become teachers at the Ghoul School. How would that play out? I just kind of imagine Peter and Wade during the volleyball match. They would be like, you pull that crap. They would be like, when one of the Callaway cadets cheat, they would be like, you pull that crap again, we're going to beat you to senseless. And just punch the kid for no reason, and then just go, Roadhouse. So, there's your answer. Think of this question, Shockwave Spider. Moving on now to Brony Gamer, who asks, what if there would be a Ghoul School series with new characters, new stories, new teachers, and a few cameos from Scooby-Doo here and there? I would love that. I think, yeah, Ghoul School I've always said that Ghoul School would make a great animated series. We've got MLP and soon Powerpuff Girls and Steven Universe out there, and there's it clearly shows you can do an action show with a female cast and do kind of supernatural stuff. God, if I was in animation, I would be pushing for this so hard. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. Anyway. Second question. What would it be like if the Ghoul School girls and their parents went on vacation? I already answered this one. Third question. What would it be if Tannis met Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls? How cute would that be? Goddamn cute. It would just be ridiculously goddamn cute. Yeah. So, that looks like those are all the questions. Once again, I want to thank everybody who sent in questions, and if I did not answer someone's, that usually means YouTube would marked it as spam or didn't have it on the list at all, so I do apologize for that. But once again, thank you all for this. Hope you all enjoyed this Q&A, and I will see you guys later.